Hello fellow readers and readeresses, and welcome to this number installment of The Lord of the Reads to the two libraries, the most precious TBR game. Today we will select my TBR for the very first month of the brand new 2025. So, Happy New Year everybody. I hope you have a great one. I hope you're feeling motivated and hopeful, and I hope that persists through the year as well as beyond. If you're not familiar with The Lord of the Reads and you wish to become intimately acquainted with it, you can watch this video over here. But in a nutshell, we need to get from here to here by rolling a 12-sided dice as many times as it takes to achieve this goal, and each time we land on a tile, we pick a book to correspond to its prompt. Speaking of tiles, there are 4 kinds, starting with the empty tile, which has no prompt, so upon landing on it, we're gonna pick one of the prompt cards. I'm sorry if the lighting has changed. I had to get up and turn on some lights because the day is coming to an end. Next we have the TBR jar tile, upon landing on which I'm gonna have to pull one of the books from the TBR pot, and I think this is the best moment to discuss what's actually inside, because there are some changes that have occurred with the contents of the TBR jar. A while back, on June 1st of 2024, I posted a short both here and on Instagram where I asked you to share with me your most favorite book. And at the end of last year, I gathered all the books from the comments under those videos, and they now live in here. Because the TBR jar has always been a way to represent my yearly priorities, and this year I would like to get to know the books you love most. And speaking of priorities, there is a 2025 goals video which is coming soon, so stay tuned. Next we have the series tile, upon landing on which I'm gonna have to pick one of the series I currently have stuck in progress and continue with it. And last and least, we have the Dead Marshes tile, which not only requires me to go back either to the previous Dead Marshes tile or to the beginning, but also I'm gonna have to pull one of the books from the bookshelf jar, which contains all the books that I currently own and haven't yet read. As always, I'm gonna have to add the disclaimer that some of the books here have already been read, but it's very difficult to keep up to date a jar with so many books, and I think at one point I promised to update it for the new year, but I lied. Then once I reach the end of the map, I get to pick one book of my choice as a reward for all the hard work that I've done. Maybe. If you'd like to play The Lord of the Reads for yourself, I have provided both printable and digital version, both of which can be found in the video description. Enjoy. And before we start the actual game, there's one last thing left to do, and that is to look at the prompt cards that I got last time and see how I did with them. The first prompt card I got was The Great River Anduin, which carries the prompt, read a paperback with a map. For this one, I chose Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, and I'm happy to report that I was able to finish it. The second prompt card I got was The Two Towers, with its prompt, read a book by an author duo. For this prompt, I chose Cibola Burn by James S.A. Corey, and I was able to finish it too. And the third and last card I got was Green Dragon Inn, with the prompt, read a book with a color in the title. The book I chose here was The Mystery of the Blue Train by Agatha Christie, and I was able to complete it. So all 3 prompt cards get to be added to my collection. In addition to that, out of the 5 books on my December TBR, 3 I owned for more than 2 years, and since I read them all on time, I get 3 additional points thanks to Gimli's special skill. Now that all that is out of the way, it is finally time to play the game for my January TBR, starting by rolling to see who's gonna be my companion this month. And we've got a 3. Which means that my companion for today is going to be Mary with his special skill Crafty Little Hobbit, which allows me to reuse the leftover book from last month. That's actually great because I have 2 books left over from last month, and I'm definitely going to try to reuse one of them if I remember, of course. And my dear Mary is going to go on the board as my avatar. Alright, I am ready, and it's time for roll number 1. I'm so excited! And we have a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice! TBR jar. Alright, I dare say the year is starting very, very well. Also, I'm sorry about the light. The sun is setting and it's like right in my face. Let's see what we're gonna read first. We have Hyperion by Dan Simmons, which was recommended by Rui Sci-Fi on Instagram. Give me a second. So, Hyperion by Dan Simmons, this is an adult sci-fi that is very, very popular. I think it has horror elements or something like that. I've been meaning to read it for a very long time. I actually own it since June of 2023, but I've never gotten to it, and it's finally time. I'm really in the mood for sci-fi lately, and I think this is going to be a great choice. Thank you so much for the recommendation. and I am really looking forward to this. Alright, I think that was a great first roll, so now let's get to roll number 2. And we have a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice, we're landing on the series tile. Okay, this light is really terrible and I'm really sorry. It's not gonna last too long, but it's gonna be uncomfortable for a bit. So we landed on the series, and the book that I chose here is The Crimson Campaign by Brian McClellan. This is an adult epic fantasy and the second book in the Powder Mage series. The first book, Promise of Blood, was actually on my December TBR and is a reread for me. I had read it like a year before that, but I had forgotten a big chunk of it and I really liked it, so I wanted to refresh my knowledge of the world and the characters and the plot so that I can continue with this lovely series, and I'm gonna do it now in January. I am very much looking forward to this because I think I liked the first book the second time around better, so safe to say I have high expectations. Alright my friends, 2 rolls down, 2 great books. I am really excited to see what's gonna come next, so let's get to roll number 3. Okay, 7. Is this good or bad? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no. It's bad. I guess we have to go back. Well, I mean, it was bound to happen. Things were going way too well for it to be normal. And we have The Starless Crown. Give me a second. Alright, so The Starless Crown by James Rollins is an adult epic fantasy and is a book that I've already had on my TBR a few months ago. I think I picked it up for one of the readathons or something like that, and I never read it, and I was really wanting to, but at the time there were other priorities and such, so now I'm hopeful that I'll be able to get to this one. Hopefully I'm not gonna have too many books on my TBR for Jan. Why am I saying this? You know that every time I say this, something goes wrong. Oh well, it is a book that I'm looking forward to, so I'm really happy that it's gonna be on my TBR. So it took us only 3 rolls for something bad to happen, and I'm kind of happy that it happened already because now I can continue to play a little more calmly, not expecting too many disasters. I don't know if that's too much confidence, but we'll see. So now let's get to roll number 4. Oh wow, a 3. 1, 2, 3. And we go to the prom cards. Well, we're slow, but we're moving, so I'll take it as a positive thing. Let's see what we're gonna get next. There and Back Again. Read a memoir / autobiography. Oh, I kind of wish I had gotten this prompt like a month ago because I had the perfect book for it. Let me think about it and I'll be back to you shortly. Alright, this choice didn't take too long because, as it turns out of all the memoirs that I own, there is only one I haven't yet read, and that is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I bought this book on a whim back in 2023 and I've been wanting to read it ever since because I think Matthew McConaughey is very interesting, not just as an actor but also as a person, and I'd be curious to see what he has to say. I know that the book features some journal entries and a lot of personal photos, so it should be an interesting read. So we are 4 rolls in and we have 4 interesting books. I am starting to feel a little worried because we're not moving too fast, but what can we do beyond continuing? So let's get to roll number 5. And yet another 3. What a speed. 1, 2, and 3. And we get to the prom cards yet again. I don't like this. I don't like this. But let's see if I'm gonna like the prom that I'm gonna get. Let's see. Many meetings. Read a library book. Okay, this is actually a pretty good prompt because I haven't been to the library in a few months and it would be nice to go. So I'm gonna insert a clip right now of me going and you get to see which book I picked. Okay, so the book that I chose is this Bulgarian edition of a memory called Empire by Arkady Martin. This is an adult sci-fi space opera, I think, and is the first book in a series whose name I don't know. I've heard good things about it a few years ago by some booktuber or another, and as far as I understand, the book has gotten a Hugo Award for Best Fiction in 2020, so that is great. I'm really curious to find out more about it, and I hope I'll be able to find time to read it through the month. So, I hope you liked the book that I picked, and I hope I liked it too. And now it's time to get into roll number 6, I think. And we have a 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're gonna do the prompt cards yet again. My goodness, we are veritably crawling along this map. Let's see. Grima Wormtongue, read the lowest rated book on your TBR. Who wrote these prompts? Honestly. Alright, let me look at the books that are on my TBR. Alright, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit with this prompt because instead of picking the lowest rated book from my 2025 TBR, because I don't have their ratings here and looking through all of them would take absolutely forever, I decided to go with the lowest rated book that I own and haven't yet read. And that is because I can actually sort the owned books in my reading diary spreadsheet by rating, and it turns out that the lowest rated one amongst them is Damned by Chuck Palahniuk. This is, I don't even know what it is. I think it's a psychological thriller, but I'm not 100% sure, and I think it has a supernatural element to it. I think I read like a page from it. It starts really disturbing and I'm kind of curious about that. I'm looking forward to reading this one, even though currently, to be perfectly honest with you, I am not entirely in the mood for that kind of a read. But we'll see. I hope I'll be able to give it a chance. Alright, so we now have 6 books on my TBR and we're barely past the middle of the map. I am hoping that we'll be able to move a little bit faster from now on. So let's get to roll number 7. And we have 11. Yes, finally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. Man, I can't catch a break. Oh man, this is so very upsetting. You know, this year was supposed to be better than last one. It's not a very good start so far. Let's see. The Vagrant. I don't even remember owning this. Give me a second. So, The Vagrant by Peter Newman is a sci-fi as far as I understand, but I have absolutely no clue what the plot is about because I bought it so long ago, and I think I only did it because I liked the cover so very much. I see some very nice words here by Sci-Fi Now that it's a must read, so I guess I must read it. And I will try to. Maybe the TBR is becoming very voluminous. It's a lot of books, okay? So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to this one. I hope I will be though. Cool, so we got to 7 books and we're back in the middle of the map somehow. This is very frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm hoping that, you know, the bad things that had to happen have already happened and we can now move on and, you know, see the sun after the dark or whatever the saying is. Let's just get to roll number 8. Alright, 10. Not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Prompt cards. Cool. Alright, this was not too bad. We actually managed to move some good distance across the map. Elven Cloak, read a paperback. Alright, this is a very simple prompt. I like it. It gives a lot of opportunities, and I think I know which book I'm gonna pick. Okay, so for this prompt, I decided to go with Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is a YA fantasy and the fourth book, I think, in the Throne of Glass series. I was reading this series last year and actually the year before that too, and I was quite enjoying it, but at some point I just stopped reading it, and I would like to be back to it and kind of finish it this year if possible. I was buddy reading it with a friend and we were having a good time, and I would like to have that again. So I am really happy to be picking this up for this prompt because frankly, I'm already reading it. I started it like 2 days ago, I think. So now I have the opportunity to put it on my TBR. Okay, my friends, we have 8 books on the TBR so far, and we're really close to the ending. We have the realistic chance to actually finish the map with 1 roll or 2, and I'm really hoping that's going to be the case. So let's get to roll number 9. And we have a 3. Oh wait, no. You have got to be absolutely kidding me. Oh my god. How? You know, I'm really hoping you're enjoying this because you're actually getting to witness my villain origin story. Persuasion by Jane Austen is actually a book that I read last year, and it made my best books of the year. So I'm gonna have to pick another one, even though that would have been a great choice. Attempt number 2. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Alright, that's not a bad choice, but give me a second. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson is a psychological thriller that follows a murder investigation or something like that. There was a very successful TV show a few years back. Well, I say a few, but it was many years back, and I never watched it. I always wanted to, but I wanted to read the book first, and I'm really happy that it came on the TBR. Unfortunately, it's coming in a very bad moment where I already have like a gazillion books before that, and I'm not sure I'll be able to find time for it, but I can always prioritize, and maybe this is going to be one of the priorities. We'll see. I have this very nice secondhand edition. It's very well preserved, if you will, and I got it for like $2 or something like that, so it was a good find. And I also have the other 2 from the series as well, again secondhand, so maybe if I like this one I can read the series back to back. Let's not make too many plans because right now I am not very much in the mood for positive thinking, but alright, this is book number 9. So we have 9 books on my TBR for January already, and there is no end in sight. I truly thought that the year would start much better, and it has in many ways, but this is not one of the ways. Well, you can have it all, so it is so bad right now that it doesn't even matter what's gonna happen next. Let's get to roll number 10. Oh, 4. What a great number. 1, 2, 3, and 4. TBR jar yet again. Alright, so in its first month, the TBR jar makes appearance twice, which is unprecedented, really. Let's see what we're gonna get. Forevermore by Cindy Miles, and this was recommended by Murphy. I'm sorry for butchering your name. I'm gonna put it on the screen so there's no confusion, and it was done on YouTube. So this is a book that I don't actually own, and I know absolutely nothing about it. I'm gonna try to find it as an ebook, and I'm gonna attempt to read it in January. I'm gonna try to prioritize the books from the TBR jar. It might be a nice surprise. I like going into books blind, and this is a nice opportunity to do so. So thank you, oh Jesus, I'm without glasses, so I barely see anything, but thank you very much for recommending it. I am really hoping I'm gonna like it. So after moving 4 entire squares, we managed to get book number 10 on my January TBR, and while I'm really happy about it, I am also very scared because we still haven't reached the end. Let's get to roll number 11. I'm gonna need more hands, you know? Okay, let's go. 8. Oh my god, is this bad? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my god. So remember when I said that it's already so bad that it doesn't even matter what's gonna happen? Well, I just realized that's not the case because I almost got a heart attack thinking I might land on the dead marshes yet again. Let's see what the next prompt is gonna be. Oak and Shield, read a hardback, the title of which starts with a vowel. How did I come up with this nonsense? Alright, let me look at the books that I own and I'll be back to you shortly. This actually turned out to be a very difficult prompt because I don't really own that many hardbacks, and the ones that I own don't often start with a vowel. Luckily for me, a few months back I purchased this beautiful edition of Dante's Inferno with illustrations from Gustave Doré. It's a very beautiful hardback and it definitely starts with a vowel, even though in Bulgarian the word is actually at and it starts with an A, but in English it starts with an I, so it doesn't really matter. I am looking forward to this, even though it's not going to be an easy read per se. I hope I'll be able to find the time to enjoy it and all the beautiful illustrations. I like to take my time with books like these that require a little more thought to understand what the author meant to say by the words that he wrote, but I've read Inferno before and I've loved it, and I hope I will again. It's a great book and I'm really happy for it, but I would have been happier had it not come after so many other books. Alright, so this was book number 11, and let's get to the next roll. Oh, please. Yes! 6! Finally! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are out! We are out! So we are finally out of the woods after a very difficult battle, and the book that I'm going to choose as a reward for my efforts is actually going to be the same book I chose last month because I'm still reading it. I'm kind of in the middle of it, and that is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I'm choosing this because of Mary's special skill, which you probably thought I forgot about, didn't you? Well, I actually did forget and just remembered when I was thinking, what the hell am I going to select? That's obviously not going to make the situation worse. So Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, adult epic fantasy, and the fifth and final book in the first era of the Stormlight Archive series. I am about 40% done with it, but it's a very, very big book. It's about 1,400 pages or something like that. So far, kind of underwhelming, but we'll talk about it more in my January wrap-up, hopefully. So we are finally done. This is usually the point where I hold the books from my TBR and I summarize it, but honestly, I don't think I have the upper body strength to hold that many books, so I'm just gonna put them here on the screen for you to observe and laugh at me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video because I definitely did not enjoy filming it, though I'm hoping to enjoy some of the books on this list. Please let me know what's on your January TBR and what you're most excited about reading. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see how I did with my December TBR, check out this video. Bye!